What's going on, y'all? It's Jamel Banu, and I get to interview an amazing cast and the actual creator herself. So tell us, what is your position in this whole production?
My name is Nakeasha Walker. I am the writer, executive director, and the visionary of Decoding Mary.
Hello everyone, I'm Briannah Cox, and I am director, producer, and editor for Decoding Mary.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Jamel Banu. I'm the stage manager / assistant director of Decoding. So tell us can you describe some of these characters to us?
Okay, I give you a little bit. All right, so Mary, she is the main character. She's the one that has DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. Which is a mental illness, and she also was sexually abused by her uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am Zania McGill. I am Mary.
We have Cheryl. Cheryl is her mother. Her mother is, she's a churchy woman. She loves the Lord, but where she lacks is paying attention to her daughter and the signs of the incest and the mental illness as well. We have Lo, which is Cheryl's sister-in-law. She's messy. She's married to Cheryl's brother, Rob.
Hello everyone, I'm Sandra Wiggins. I'm playing the character Lo in Decoding Mary. I don't like to use the word nosy. I'm going to say I'm an investigator.
Hello everybody, my name is Chrissy Brown and I am playing Cheyenne.
Yes.
It's a lot that comes with her. She's very bold, I would say. Let's see, what else I can say about her. Yeah, she has some secrets.
We're going to. He's a predator. He is the uncle that molested his niece when her father passed away.
I'm B. Jones. I'm an actor, MC, event host, and stand-up comedian.
So what role do you play in this film?
I'm playing
Stage play.
Rob.
We have Mary's children. We have Jen, Core, and Reefer.
I have the lovely.
Destiny Cox, hey y'all.
What's going on, Destiny? So what's your role in the stage play?
I play young Mary and Jen, aka Jennifer.
Oh wow, 2 parts. So tell us a little bit about your characters.
So young Mary is obviously the younger version of older Mary, and she was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, better known as DID. And then Jen is the daughter of Mary and also the grandchild of Cheryl.
Hey guys, I am Briannah Coleman and I play Cavassier in Decoding Mary stage play.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Alan McMorris, and for the Decoding Mary stage play, I play Reefer.
All of those children are named their names because in the time of her being molested by her uncle, those were the things that he introduced her to.
Party favorites.
Yeah, party favorites. So she named her children after each one of those things. Rob, the predator. He's a preacher. He has his own church. Yeah, he has his own church, and he had Mary to believe that he was a father figure to her when her father passed. Yeah, so he slipped in that way, started touching and molesting her at the age of 8.
Stuff like that. So the first time we actually rehearsed that scene, I ain't gonna lie, I was uncomfortable. Because it's just like, I feel like I'm making somebody else uncomfortable. Even though she's telling me like, hey, we acting, I'm not uncomfortable. But I'm feeling uncomfortable doing it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then like, so I didn't come on as strong as I know I could, as strong as I should. And she actually had to have a conversation with me. It was like, listen, you just do it. Yeah. Just do it and try to be your best at it, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna make me feel no type of way. You just gotta make this thing believable.
Wow, that's It's kind of deep.
Yes, it's very deep.
So I would say, so with the creation, you're bringing a lot of these serious topics to life, right?
Yes.
So what do you think would come to mind as an audience member when we deep dive into seeing this play? Like, what are some things you would think we would see for all those? Is it a representation of silent victims, you would say?
It is. It is very much so. And also mental illness, sexual abuse.
Gotcha.
So what would come to people's mind, I believe, would be, I saw some of these signs before. Did this happen to someone in my family? I struggle with some of these things. You know, is this something that I don't remember? Am I going through some mental illnesses?
Yeah.
Did I, forget about some things? Did I block some things out of my memory?
Gotcha.
I remember some things happening, but, I have a feeling, but I don't really know.
And I'm hoping that they'll see within themselves, like, oh, this might be the reason I act that way. Because I did have to deal with these traumas. Because a lot of behavioral issues stem from trauma, and so maybe it'll cause them to look within themselves and figure out why.
So, especially me, I would like to know, what is DID? Like you mentioned that, what is that?
Dissociative identity disorder. That is a condition where you have split personalities.
Kind of like a schizo.
Yeah, so it's kind of not necessarily, but if you've ever heard of people having different personalities, so there's different names for it, and I don't want to really touch into that too much because it can get people can kind of like intertwine them together, and they're really not the same thing. It's some differences in all of them. But what I've personally studied about DID is that a person has alters. They split into these different personalities.
So I believe that Mary held it in for so long, and she created the altar. The altars came because she could not mentally cope.
She didn't know how to tell anyone, or she didn't know how to deal with it. So she was just doing what she could do, and that was her body created the altars, and so that's how she dealt with it.
So she has a lot of people that makes up who she is outside of her daily activity. So for me, becoming Mary and becoming everyone who is a part of her, you sort of take on an identity of itself.
Those personalities are a part of them. So it's not like they created a monster, and that's a stigma that a lot of people have.
Okay.
It's from Mary's character, it is from trauma. Because she doesn't remember a lot of those things as Mary, but as her alters, they all remember different things that happen, and their personalities are formed around what happened to them in that age that they were. So all of them are different ages.
Well, that leads to my next question. Why do you think the victims keep quiet and allow these things to go on for so long?
That's a great question. Why do I think she stayed in that trauma so long? I think it's because she was used to it. She was so used to it. Usually, it's kind of like the Stockholm syndrome. When you're so used to something and this is what you know, you don't ever want to leave it, sadly. And you got to think about it. She grew up this way. Like, she grew up this way. She was taken by this at a very young age. And when you're taken by something as a kid, you start to think that this is right. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to be treated. This is how my environment is supposed to be like. So I think she stayed in it because she knew nothing else. And then she's struggling herself. So that's also another big factor.
I feel like she didn't have the full grasp of what was going on. She didn't necessarily know.
Well, love, the love that she thought she was receiving. love that she wanted. But, how would she even know what love is?
I believe that sometimes it's due to embarrassment.
Embarrassment.
How would she even know what love is?
She was taken by this at a very young age.
Could not mentally cope.
She didn't know how to deal with this. What was going on?
That's one of the biggest things I believe. People are embarrassed about getting that information out to other people. Especially in the black culture. We don't like, you tell your kids, keep my business in the house, don't tell my business to nobody on the outside. Yeah. So a lot of times when you tell your kids that, these are some of the things that they're experiencing. And we're not realizing that we're telling them to keep it quiet. So they can't go on the outside and let people know I'm being molested or touched or things like that. But they show signs and we still look over the signs. So yeah.
This is something I know we gonna want to know. When doing this, like what is your mindset like creating all these different characters? Like, cause I know, especially dealing with this kind of topic, you really gotta go to another place. So, like, we want to know what was your mindset, like the process of what you was creating this.
Okay, so let me just give you this because it's funny, but when I created these characters and like people would joke and say, I think you sleep crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Things like that. It's a joke, I understand, but when you read or when people are able to see it on the stage, they're probably going to be like, something is wrong with that girl.
It's kind of scary in a sense because it's like you're really this brave to write about this type of stuff because people don't touch it. People don't talk about this mental health stuff. They don't touch it. What happens in the family stays in the family. Yes. You never get your healing. You never get your breakthrough. So when I first read this script 4 years ago, those were the feelings that I had.
I wondered okay, how does she expect the audience to react? What kind of message does she want to send? Because when I first read it, like I said, it made me think. Like, it had me so, like, shook. It did.
Happy. And I felt good because we're bringing awareness and for the writer, Nakeasha Walker, to step outside of her element. Because a lot of people are not bringing awareness to mental health. And not only mental awareness, we're breaking generation curses. We're letting people know that we're no longer going to keep pushing things up under the rug. It's okay to get help. Someone loves you. So I was happy with the play. It's deep, but most of all, it's like we're going to be breaking chains.
And I think one of the biggest messages, I'm hoping that one of the biggest messages that it gives off is that generational trauma is real. Generational trauma is real, and I think a lot of people need to get to realize that, and they need to act on that.
Once I got the script and I read through, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
So everything that I wrote, I believe is like God sent. Because it's a message that has to be put out there in this time. Because right now we're dealing with a lot of mental illness, and a lot of people are coming forward, saying that I've dealt with some of these things.
Cheryl, my sister, she's acting like she's blind to what's going on and not seeing what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding what's going on. So you have that. Then like you have rape in it. You have, rape in family. Then you have incest. You know what I'm saying? All that's going on. And I think they'll see that. I think it's going to open up a lot of wounds. I think it's a lot of answers will be presented for people. You know how you grow up, you're like, well, how can I get through it? A lot of people just bury it. Yeah. A lot of people bury what they go through. But this might give them a chance to open up and say, hey, I need to go talk to somebody because this did happen to me. You know?
It takes a level of maturity to be able to understand this stage play, but I do think it would touch a lot of hearts because DID is a lot more common than a lot of people think, and kids go through it, but they don't know that they go through it.
Why do you think people look past the truth when it's right there? You know, because if you're keeping a secret, evidently some things you probably, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of denial. Like, no, that didn't happen this way. Like, how do you think, when you was creating this character, how do you think like they could possibly, because I'm sure it's going to connect to a lot of people that go through the same thing in denial. So how would you think people could hide the truth in plain sight?
I believe with Mary, she kept it as long as she tried to tell, she tried to say what happened, she tried to expose, but then it was just null and void because it was a family issue.
To me, it could be like several reasons. Sometimes probably the person who ignores it is a victim themselves, and they don't block it out, and so it kind of brings back some of the things from them, so they kind of tune it out.
In Mary's case, I would say because of how her DID was, she didn't remember, she blocked out everything that happened to her as she was coming up. So she created altars that knew about it, but she didn't know about it. So her mechanism of hiding or not spilling the truth was because she didn't remember. She built a wall. But the thing about it is, it's gonna come back to memory. For her, it did come back to memory. And I think that a lot of people just, because of how we're raised in our culture, don't speak about things that happen in the house. Don't talk about, and you don't talk about certain things with your children, like having conversations about this can happen, the birds and the bees is what we used to call it. A lot of times those conversations with your children are very important so that they can know that this is wrong.
Is that the pushing point that you want everybody to view on, or overall do you have another thing that you want us to really dig deep into when you're looking?
Well, I do want them to pay attention to mental health. So there's different mental health issues that's out there.
And accepting the truth, and then you think, well, what am I going to, now that I know the truth, what am I going to do about it?
And get help if there's something off with you. It's nothing wrong with laying down on the couch, speaking to a therapist. That's what they're here for. That's their job. That's what they do. They know how to talk to you and help you straighten your life out. So we have so much mental illness that's going on around here where even anger, just anxiety, anger, people killing people just for no reason, you know, but it's a reason to them because they're feeling something internally that they can't deal with.
Yeah.
So basically it's like, I want people to just be able to recognize that something is off.
Behavior differences, you know, maybe they be more standoffish, not talking, probably go to the room all the time, avoiding me having girls, you know, I mean, I constantly talk with my girls. Some things I don't want to hear, some questions and I don't want to answer, but I would rather them know from me than let the outside world teach them. Like
something doesn't feel right. Something is wrong. Let's get you somebody that you can talk to. Or let me just ask you, how's your day?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that makes a difference, you know? So I just want people to recognize their mental health, not so much as everybody else's, but your mental health as well, because we're not perfect people. And sometimes the best of people, the people that are millionaires or whatever, they have therapists that they sit up under just so that they can have some mental stability and that they can have some peace. You know, you don't have, and you're not crazy if you get a therapist. You're not crazy if you talk to a professional. You're not crazy. You just need some guidance, basically.
Getting help is okay. You know, whether you need to go see a therapist, that's okay. I know that is taboo, you know, it's not. You know, when you say, yeah, we're gonna go, what do they used to call it, a shrink? Like, no, I don't wanna lay on somebody's couch and tell somebody who I don't know, you know, about my life. And, you know, you feel like you're judged. But in actuality, it can help you. You know, instead of just not talking about it and you just bottling it up inside, that's not gonna help.
Gotcha.
Also with the sexual abuse, I want them to take away the sweeping things up under the rug, keeping things inside the household, not talking about certain topics in your family to other people. This thing needs to be open to where we can help some of our Black people. A lot of our people that are doing the crimes, I can guarantee you that they've been through some type of sexual abuse, they're having some type of mental illness. It's something that's going on with these people, and all we have to do sometimes is just reach out and get some help. So that's what I want people to take away. Just be aware.
Absolutely. Oh, they definitely gonna be aware.
Yeah.
So, looking at these rehearsals and seeing your story come to life, like, what kind of feeling, how do you feel? Are you pleased with how it's coming along, or like, how do you feel about it? Because it's easy to just write it, you know what I'm saying? But actually see it come to life, like, how does that feel?
It feels wonderful. It honestly does. It feels wonderful. It feels wonderful because I have a great team. Once you get that great team, it makes things easier because all the focus, you're not just focused on everything that it has to be done. So it breaks down a little bit of the workload on a person. But it feels wonderful because cast, man, we got a cast that is going to just like rock and roll, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have a good show coming because our cast members are passionate about the story. They're passionate about their work. They're passionate about the audience coming and getting what they paid for, you know, and we all work together like family, like we good.
So, well, yeah, they're definitely gonna understand that. So with this cast, what would you say your struggle was finding the perfect people to play these roles? The whole process, like, give us a little bit of what was the process like? Was it seamless? Was it rough? Like, did you have to get rid of some people? Like, we want to know all that.
Well, it was very rough. When we first was supposed to have been filming, taking Decoding Mary to the stage, COVID hit. So when COVID hit, it was like shut down, like everything shut down. And for me, it built up a little bit of anxiety because I'm like, okay, I have a story that I know needs to be told. What am I gonna do? But as far as like the cast, we've had cast members that started with us that's still with us. We had to switch out a couple of people, and a couple of people left on their own will. But what's important now is that we have the cast that we are supposed to have, that was sent to us for a reason. And the way that we got the cast members that are new, we didn't know these people. They came to us and was ready to work. I see the vision, and they just came with it. So we're thankful for them, grateful, for sure.
So, what would you say some of the biggest obstacles you faced during trying to get ready for this stage play?
Okay, so that was not a question that I was prepared for. The obstacles that I had to face. Recently, I lost my son. My son died 2 months ago. I went home one day and after church and I found my son dead. That in itself caused difficulties for me, not because I did not want to, because you just lost someone that's a very big part of your life, and grieving is the greatest process in life that you can actually go through. To bury your son, there's really it affects your memory, it affects your day-to-day activities, it affects your life. But even when they came back to me and they said, well, do you want to sit it out? We're not going to sit it out because there's purpose. And as I told Nakeasha, this is a life journey for me. What we're doing right now is a part of my life, but even the death of my son, the grieving, the constant ups and downs that you have, the one moment you're good and the next moment that you're not, it's a life for me. That's my journey. It is a part of my journey for the rest of my life. So to sit the play out was not an option for me. It was, and you have to make up in your mind every day that we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We may have to fight through some days. Some of my days are worse than others, but giving up is not an option.
Oh, that is definitely real powerful. By itself, like I'm really speechless on that. Man. So would you say that would be more of your driving force for the play? You must really believe in this play.
I do.
To fight through grieving and the loss of your son. That is really amazing, and we really commend you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, this is really kind of like my final question.
Okay.
But it's a good one. It's a good one. Like, we definitely want to know. So with all these characters you created, especially the DID, is there any particular one that you can relate to?
Yes. Let me see which one would be the... I would say Mary. Mary would be that character. The reason being is because I built up some walls, as she has. Some of them been torn down, and some of them I have to deal with while writing this play. That's the biggest struggle. That's the biggest struggle because it brings up so much of the past. It brings up some things that you don't want to remember. So I would say Mary because of the wall that she's built, and when she comes to remember the things that happened to her and the things that she's blocked out of her life, and then it hurts because you have to live it all over again. So during this play, writing this play, a lot of times, it's been a couple of times where I had to literally shut down, and it took so long for me to write. I had to shut down so that I can deal with some internal things that's going on with me in order to finish this play out. I've written this play 4 times, and all of the 4 times, I've written it from beginning to end, like 4 different scripts I have. And part of it is because the story had to change to be what it needed to be for at this time. So before COVID, it was a different story.
Yeah.
After COVID, it's something totally different. Why? I had to ask God, like, why? The answer is that during COVID, people went through more things and had to deal with more things, being alone, being stuck in their houses, not being able to go out and communicate, because a lot of people mask things by keeping busy, going out to clubs, hanging out, drinking, smoking, all those different things. And when the world shut down, we had to deal with those things. We didn't have a choice because we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. You know, so I would say Mary. I would say Mary.
Oh, that's nice. Well, we really appreciate you bringing this. I had the chance to actually sit here and see the whole thing come to fruition. And y'all are in for an amazing treat. We want to thank you, Nakeasha, for actually spending the time with breaking down this for us in this interview. We appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for joining us today.
Thank you,
Love my cast, like, y'all, cast, if you are watching this, you're amazing. Each and every one of you guys are amazing. The crew, amazing.
Some tears, some laughs, some good old times.
Everybody is amazing, and they're bringing it. Yeah, we bringing it, y'all.
Reed, get your tickets at eventbrite.com. Please, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be something special for y'all. Oh my God, I want y'all to see it so bad. Like, it's gonna be something like amazing, man. And y'all gonna be so entertained, and it's gonna keep you on the edge of your seat because y'all do not know what's gonna happen. I promise you that you don't know what's coming.
Man, stay tuned, y'all. We out.
This is gonna be lit.